Hello everybody. Nobody's on yet, but for those of you that are watching the archived, already recorded version, hello. Waiting for the first person to chime in until I get started. In the meantime, it's all going to be improvisational. I think I'm going to start with the blues number, one that I started with actually just last night because it was so fun. And from there, I'm going to go by feel and maybe suggestions. So far, I'm talking to nobody live, that is. So I will be open to suggestions. My first person, Mandy. I am so excited to see you here. Okay, a couple people. Okay, there's a few people on now. Warms the cockles of my heart. Okay, so I'm going to start with a blues tune, the same one that I started with yesterday. I did several, but I'm going to start with one in particular. And from there, I don't know where I'm going to go, even stylistically. I'm open to suggestions if you want to hear me play something metal, or something accompanying another instrument like piano or maybe saxophone, or just throw stuff out there, jazz, classical, reggae, whatever it might be. Hello, Francisco, my friend of many years. Nice to see you. So we're going to start with this blues track, and it's all about context. I'm going to play this blues piece in a way that's very unorthodox and different from how the millions and billions of other people that play the blues and sound exactly the same. No dig against them whatsoever, because it's good. So here we go. Okay. And as I was telling Mandy a few minutes ago, can you hear the dryer in the background? It's great. It really is. At some point it will shut off with a buzz and go brrr, and you'll know it's done. But it just makes the video so much more homey-like. Okay, here we go. The first track about to start right now. This is in the key of A minor, C relative major, which is also A flat relative Locrian mode with a double flat 7 and a flat 5. Here we go. Perfect background noise. I love it. Thank you, Mandy. I can always count on you. Whoops. Waiting for it to load. I had it loaded. You gotta be kidding me. It's gonna play an ad right now. Maybe not. Okay, here we go. Hello, Stacy. The dryer stopped. Did you hear that? That means you heard it, right? Abrupt endings, man, I tell you. That's something. Let's try something different then. Okay. And feel free to suggest.
You see this black box right here? Well, I'm going to show you something right.
As I was saying, while I do more keyword searches for something else to play, feel free to make some suggestions, y'all. Just maybe. I'm going to search for another tune right now. That was fun. That's such a great track. Let's see here. I'm just typing in backing tracks, and we're going to... Who knows what style of music it's going to bring up? I have no idea. Okay, this one's called Soulful Groove in D. Here goes. This is soul. Feeling this, right? I've never heard this one before, ever. Just gonna pull it out of thin air. Gonna dance with it. Gonna dance with it. Hello, John Stewart. Very nice to see you here. God, that was so fun. Okay, now someone else is gonna solo. I'm gonna solo over someone else. Here goes. Let's make it more interesting.
Doesn't pay his taxes.
He stormed out of an interview after being asked about his unpaid property tax.
Oh, those ads are so dumb. I try to button it with something after the music ends. See if I can capture that again on my own. So that was on the key of D minor. I'll do another tune in just a moment here. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, John. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, everyone. So to button that off, it was in D, right? D minor. Pretty cool shred stuff, like neoclassical metal combined. See, that's the thing in my opinion. Hello, Anna Marie. Very nice to see you. Okay, so here's some theory stuff that I'm doing that I love a lot with this kind of music to give it some interesting context, to be outside of the box from, like, a lot of blues sounds very similar, and it sounds very good. So I'm not dissing anybody, but they all sound very similar to each other. So I come into this blues scene, and I'm combining neoclassical shred metal from the Baroque era, mostly the Baroque era, and combining that with just old school, like B.B. King style blues. And to me, that sounds so different and so interesting than a lot of the other blues players out there. So I guess that's my take, and it's a natural thing. I didn't really think about it. It just went there because my background is mostly neoclassical shred metal. And so when I learn something like blues or jazz or whatever, I combine it, and it sounds so good. But here's some things that I was doing. Thank you, John. Glad you dig it. It is very unique, Mandy. Absolutely. So here's some common things I will do with blues, and then I'll move on to another track. And that wasn't, I don't know, was that a blues track? I don't know. Wasn't as blue. Anyway, so like this one was in the key of D. So this right here. So you can play it in that position here, or this position here is another common one. thing would be the pentatonic idea. Everyone knows this. It'll sound familiar. And I'm adding all those other notes, right? So down here. So that's the idea there, but I'm adding all those other notes to it. So the pentatonic has 5, the natural scale has 7, then repeats. And some ways that I will attack this, more so than the notes, I am thinking about nuance, how I play the notes, how I attack. Am I going to slide? Am I going to do a thing where I do a quick release bend, which almost nobody does? It's something like this. Like you start on the correct pitch and then you quickly bend down to a wrong note, a note that does not fit diatonically into that key or that scale. And then you slowly bend back up to the correct pitch. That sounds so amazing to me, and almost nobody does it. But I do it, and credit where credit is due. I got that idea from Marty Friedman and Jason Becker from the Speed Metal Symphony project from a lot of years ago called Cacophony. And they apparently got it from Japanese singers. But it sounds so good, so I use that all the time. So thank you, Jason Becker and Marty Friedman, for that. And it sounds great with any style of music. Another thing that I do is a lot of arpeggio sweeping. That is a very small club. Hardly any guitar players do it. And of the ones that do arpeggio sweeping are mostly neoclassical shred metal players. They study Baroque era classical music, right? So like in the key of D right here. Sloppy, but you get the idea. But I will do all the different inversions of it as well. So we got this inversion here. And then here's another one, and I'll slide up to it. Typically I'll slide. And I'll alternate between 3 strings or 5 strings or 6 strings. And I'll alternate between sliding and not sliding, and I'll do all these things. So here's that. And then I'll play other notes in there too, so it's not strictly the arpeggio stuff, but it's really broken up and more interesting. So and that's just flat out of the Baroque era of classical music. And when you can merge that with other styles like blues or fusion music, it sounds really good. It starts to sound like, if I were to do this if I'm playing Baroque era classical music, that won't sound out of the box. It'll be pretty orthodox. But if I take that idea, that Baroque idea, and I play it in other styles of music in a way that sounds good, it's unorthodox. It's different. It stands out, and I love that. So combined with all the nuance of how I attack the notes and play the notes versus the notes themselves, combined with taking parts of Baroque inspiration and putting them here in this inspiration, between all those different things, it just sounds so good. At the end of the day, I'm playing from here. I'm taking all that I have learned and learning more as I go forward, and the more I know, the more I'm inspired by different things, the more I can express myself in this dance called improvisation. So improv is the most fun for me for that reason, I suppose. It just squeezes out more human emotion. And also, the most important thing of my playing, in my opinion, is the vibrato. When I'm listening to other musicians, even more so than their ability to shred, which I love, I want that vibrato. That's what makes a note sing. So like, versus just playing a note or a bad vibrato, like a nervous sounding vibrato, but just a really good vibrato that makes the note sing. And there's different vibratos. Fast, you start at one speed and morph into another speed, and start slow, go wide, start and go in. Whatever is coming from here, vibrato is the most important thing. Singers, other instrumentalists, that's the thing I noticed before anything else is a vibrato. So and that's what differentiates other musicians, is their vibrato. Otherwise anybody can play a phrase or a note and it's going to sound exactly the same from musician to musician. It's the vibrato and how they attack the notes and all those nuances. All right. So let's move on to the next tune. For those of you that were interested in that stuff I just gave you, mad respect. Mandy, I'm so glad you're here. Lisa, very nice to see you. Okay, next tune. Let's go. What have we got here? Just did that one. Let's do a different one. We are going to go to... All right, this one is called Deep Atmospheric. Just those first two words in the description of the title got me. What does the rest of it say? Deep Atmospheric ballad guitar backing track in A. So be A major. They didn't specify minor. So A major. Glad to be here. Me too. So A major. And the relative minor would be F sharp minor. So let's do it. Sounds awesome. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate it. So those are arpeggio sweeps again. Doesn't that sound awesome? I love that. That's a very small club of guitar players that does that stuff. It's right from the Baroque era. Okay, so let's combine that with some fusion, and it should sound pretty unorthodox and interesting. Here we go. Hello, Stacy. Thank you very much. Deep Atmospheric. Okay, here we go.
My wife and I worked hard for decades. We thought our retirement was secure.
But inflation is changing everything. Gas.
That sounds good. I don't think I've ever heard this one before, so let's see what happens. Let's feel. Let's have this dance. I found my groove. Sounds pretty good. Hey Pamela, very nice to see you, my friend. prop. God, that was good. Wait a second, there might be more after this advertisement. Yes, okay, a lot of these backing tracks, at the end of it, there will be a soloist that comes in to give an example of how it could be soloed over. So I'm gonna let this guy go, and I will solo with him and see what happens. Here we go. Oh yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, so another theory piece before I go into the next tune. Thank you very much, Mandy. I love it. Thank you, Stacy. Let's dance. Caron. Thank you, Pamela. Great to see you. Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to do another theory piece. I got distracted by greeting everybody. What was I going to show you before I move on to the next tune? Oh yeah. One very easy interchangeable major to minor, still remaining diatonic to the key that you're in this case. What key was I in? F sharp. Okay, A major to F sharp minor. Okay, so this is major. So that's the arpeggio of A major, right? On a 6-string sweep. Ooh, big deal. But here's minor. It fits perfectly. I don't have to change the positions of my hands, so mechanically it's just easier to do versus the other inversions. So here's major again. On 3 strings. Here's minor. So we have the A major, F sharp minor, and they're just so easy to interchange between the two while still remaining diatonics because I'm playing relative major and minor. So I found myself doing that a lot on this particular tune. It just sounded so cool. Stuff like that. Okay. let's move on to the next piece. The next improvisational dance. I love dancing, whether it's like regular dancing or improvisational music. It's just something that you feel and is really therapeutic. It's like medicine. It's so good. Bachata, anyone? It's one of my favorite dances. Okay, let's see here. The next tune. All right, here's one that's bluesy and R&B combined into one. Let's see what this one's like. Where was it? Oh yeah, bluesy, smooth R&B. This one's in G minor. Gave the key away. So G minor. Am I in tune? Okay, so G minor. So that's going to be B flat or A sharp major relative. And then the relative major is going to be this, the B flat or A sharp. And then the relative Locrian, which is where the evil stuff comes from. And that would be A Locrian. Okay, so now that we get that straight and all the other 7 modes that fit a diatonic thing. Hello, Lisa. Glad you're here. All right, let's do this next track. This one's called Bluesy Smooth R&B backing track. Let's do it. See what we feel.
These are actual crime scenes across Wisconsin. Yet Mandela Barnes supports defunding the police.
Okay, here it goes. It's spinning, it's loading. Ooh, interesting. I know, right? Very interesting, Mandy. Let's see here. Put this down. It's different. Finding my groove at all to this one at all. That's redundant. I'm going to start it over. I'm going to challenge myself, see if I can. This is rare. Typically I just go right in the pocket. It's like, oh yeah, I got this one, but I'm not feeling this one so far. So let's grow as a improvisational musician and see if I can get this one. I'm going to start it over. You witnessed it here. I'm completely willing to make mistakes and be imperfect in front of everyone. Because that's life. So let's start this one over, see what happens. In fact, I'm going to turn my level down here. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. No idea what I want to do here. Exactly. Thank you, Mandy. That is so cool. I'm so happy I'm more entertaining than a movie. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, where was I now? This is so awesome.
Never faltered, never slowed down, and always stands strong for us. His mission, change up.
God, these political ads are such garbage. Oh my God. So much better than my movies. Ha ha. That is a very high compliment because I know how important movies are to people. And that downtime of I'm just going to chill and relax. Got a great movie and some strawberries, whatever the case may be. But this is even better than that. It blows my mind. Oh, you're so kind. Thank you, Mandy. All right, let's see what else we've got here. I think I might do one more. Possibility there might be two more. I don't know yet, but for sure at least one more. So let's see what I pick out here. I'm going to do a different keyword search now because I just want something different than what I've played before. So let's see what I can find here. Let's see here. I'm not going to tell you what the keyword is. Let's see. What do I come up with? Here's... Oh. Huh. All right. I think I found something that might work. Gotta pause it. Your aunt made you a brandy slush. You know, I'm not much of a drinker, but I actually do enjoy brandy, especially like the apricot infused ones and blackberry infused ones. This is a brandy slush. I probably would enjoy that. I'm not gonna lie, that would be fun. I don't drink. Yeah, same here. I was just saying that. I don't drink often. Well, enjoy it. I don't think it's a bad thing. You seem to be in a good balance there with alcohol, given that you don't drink too much. So enjoy it. And let's try this tune out. I think this is going to sound a bit different than everything I've played tonight so far, which is good. So let's see here. Okay, these chords are really cool. So this is all diatonic to the key of E minor. I will play the rest of it, don't worry. So E minor, and I was just doing power chords basically. And then I went to C major. And then I went to D major. Right? Might feel it. Ha, yes. Yes, you will, Mandy. That's awesome. Okay, so this is really cool. So this is the one chord, which is going to be the E minor. And then the C major, which is going to be, that's the 6. And then the 7, which is D minor. And those are the 3 chords. So it's a 3-chord progression, but it sounds so cool. And this could easily be metalized, especially with those power chords that I was playing behind it. Okay, so now I'm going to start it over. And I will start by playing those chords, and then I'm going to break off at some point when I feel it and just start soloing over it and improvising. But that's a really cool progression of 1, 6, 7, from a 1 being the Aeolian natural minor. And so the relative major to E minor is G major. Pretty cool, eh? Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it! Yeah! Let's go! Mandy, I want to taste your slushie that you have. It sounds really delightful. Okay. Okay, 3 times the charm. For that one, I adjusted the level, so my guitars are a little bit louder. So let's start all over. Gonna nail it. The levels are correct. Let's go. And thanks for sharing, Mandy. I deeply appreciate that. I would share too. Okay, here we go. Heavier.
Thousands of organizations rely on us to be their payroll department. Our ADP managed service reps are an extension of your team with dedicated expertise in.
That was a long one, and I was in a groove. I could have probably done that one forever. It was cool. Hopefully, I did enough different ideas to keep it interesting the whole time so it never got boring. Mandy, I'm so glad you stuck around. Elisa, hello. I think that's going to be my last one, but before I end the video, I'll show you one particular thing that I really love. It's based on an arpeggio shape. Since this was in the key of E minor, relative G major, I spent a lot of time arpeggio sweeping, really shredding the hell out of this one with the G major arpeggios and all the different inversions. And it was the original one that got me going many years ago with like a sliding effect between the different inversions. So it was this, and you might recognize this. I did this several times throughout this piece. So there we go, slow to fast. That one really improved my playing a lot when I was practicing that every day, speeding it up to a metronome and so on, all done in 16th note triplets. It's a really cool thing. So if a key is, or if a song is done in E minor, doing that relative G major sounds so good with it. It just really does. E minor also sounds good with E minor, but when you're laying G major, the relative major instead of the minor over the dominant minor, I don't know, it just sounds a bit different than what other people are doing. So I really dig that. So that was a continuous theme with that tune there. Okay, so I am going to end it now. And I appreciate everyone for being here, and especially those of you that commented and connected. Much love to you all. I appreciate you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Until next time. Hope you enjoyed this. Musicalorgasms.com is the website. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Tom sounded wonderful tonight. Thank you, Mandy. I am just thrilled you were here. I really am. Can't say enough about that, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see y'all hopefully soon. Musicalorgasms.com. Check it out. And mwah, mwah, big old make-out kisses. Mwah. There's kisses and then there's make-out kisses. Mwah. Okay. Good night.